The Brain Box presents 9 signs you have anxiety disorder. In today's world, stress is becoming an integral part of our daily life. Some bit of tension is acceptance. For example, when one goes through some financial challenges, health problems, or even when somebody is asked to speak on a public stage, some bit of tension is acceptable and normal. However, when tension goes beyond the threshold limit and becomes very frequent and forceful, then certainly there are reasons to be worried about. This is the stage when anxiety and tension begins to take over one's life. However, the challenge lies in differentiating between normal anxiety and something which could be termed as anxiety disorder. This is not an easy job because it comes in different shapes and forms. People could suffer from uncontrollable society anxiety, phobia, and even sudden and unexplained panic attacks. Therefore, it would need close examination from qualified psychologists and psychiatrists to differentiate between normal anxiety and confirmed cases of anxiety disorders. We will look at some classic signs and symptoms which could point to anxiety disorders. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing so you won't miss interesting videos like this. 1. Excessive worrying. If you come across people who worry too much about everyday happenings and things, it could be one of the most telltale symptoms of anxiety disorder. This is often considered as one of the starting points of generalized anxiety disorder or GAD. If the person continues to worry about daily happenings for a period of more than 6 months, then he or she could be said to be suffering from anxiety disorder. 2. Inability to sleep properly. Inability to sleep properly is another symptom which might point towards generalized anxiety disorder. If a person is unable to fall asleep or is not able to stay asleep for the desired amount of time, then he or she could be suffering from anxiety disorder. Though some rare instances of being tensed, especially before a surgery or an interview, is quite acceptable, when it becomes a continuous and chronic problem, then it is time to go in for some diagnosis to find the root of the problem. 3. Fears that are often unfounded and irrational. There are situations where a person could suffer from fears which are completely irrational and unfounded. It could range from being scared to death when they see crowds, encountering some animals, or even when flying in an airplane, or even they could become totally paranoid imagining situations which are unreal. When the fear becomes overwhelming and disrupts the person's life, then it certainly becomes a big problem. There have been many situations where phobias could be totally crippling and could even call for confinement and medical treatment. 4. Muscle cramps and tension. Constant muscle tension is another classic symptom which could point towards anxiety disorder. It could range from a host of symptoms including clenching of jaw, clenching of fists, flexing of muscles across the entire body. At times it becomes so very common and so regular that people around the person could stop noticing it. This certainly should be avoided because of obvious reasons, and treatment should be started immediately under doctor's supervision. 5. Indigestion and chronic stomach problems. Though anxiety usually starts in the mind, it could over a period of time get manifested in various parts of the body. Apart from chronic muscle cramps, many people suffering from anxiety disorders could complain of digestive problems, including chronic IBS or irritable bowel syndrome. This could lead to cramping of the stomach, unexplained stomach pains, gas, constipation, bloating, and intermittent bouts of diarrhea. It is basically caused because of anxiety in the digestive tract. Though IBS cannot be directly related to anxiety, they often come together, and one is dependent on the other in many patients. Hence, IBS, which does not go away over a period of time, should be carefully monitored, and the root cause must be found out. 6. Social and stage fright. Many people could suffer from some amount of stage fright, which is quite acceptable and is a part of the learning process. However, when somebody starts imagining about it many days before the event and starts getting into a shell and become paranoid about facing the audience, it certainly is a matter of concern. It is perhaps a rare but possible symptom associated with general anxiety disorder. Even after the event is over, there could be many situations where the persons could be trying to find fault with themselves and the situations and become tensed about it. 7. Being extremely self-conscious. When we talk about social anxiety disorder, we often presume that it is about a person's inability to be the normal self when mixing with a crowd. It is much more than that. Even when they are not able to speak properly one-on-one to somebody, it might perhaps point to a larger malady, and it could be the staring symptom towards anxiety disorder. These people are very conscious of themselves, and even the smallest moves of theirs are looked at with guilt and lack of self-confidence. 8. Sudden unexplained panic attacks. Panic attacks are perhaps the most terrifying and worrying symptoms associated with anxiety disorders. The worst thing is that it could strike suddenly and leave the person with a feeling of totally helplessness and fear. It could last several minutes, and it could be accompanied by various types of physical symptoms. They could range from difficulty in breathing, racing and pounding heart, hands which tingle or feel numb, dizziness and weakness, unexplained chest pain, profuse sweating, feeling too hot or too cold, including shivering, and stomach pain. 9. Flashbacks that are disturbing. Each and every one of us would certainly have gone through some dark and traumatic moments in life. It could be death of a loved one, and this could lead to a situation of PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. These people relive and recount the horrifying and frightening incidents, and when it keeps happening over and over again, it is a matter of concern calling for immediate sedation and other such treatments, as may be found fit by the doctors. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. As always, subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.